the DOJ did intentionally slow walk their investigation and treated Hunter the way no one else would get to be treated. We make special exceptions for him.
Well, I mean, I think there are definitely two standards of justice in this country right now.
Amen.
And this is not specific to Biden and Trump alone. I mean, there's one standard for Julian Assange, who sits in a foreign prison, still in exile. I'm going to try to see him later this year. Another one for Chelsea Manning, who is the government agent who actually leaked information to him because she's transgender. So then now you see one standard for Hunter Biden, a different one for somebody who has a different last name, be it Trump or otherwise. Part of the problem is we have this bureaucracy. The IRS is one example of it, but a bureaucracy that really abandons the rule of law to decide what it feels like doing on a given day. And so those two stories between what Marjorie Taylor Greene's saying about Hunter Biden, about the testimony of the two IRS whistleblowers, these are deeply linked. They're both symptoms of a managerial class, a bureaucracy in this country that does whatever it sees fit and is going to effectively politically protect whichever party is actually protecting them and preserving them and their existence. And right now that's the Democrat Party, so they happen to be protecting them. If that changed in the future, they'd protect whoever paid for their continued existence. But that's exactly what's happening today.
Yeah, this is absolutely nothing new. I think some people who are just waking up to these things think that it's the first time any of this has happened. I mean, this goes back a very long time, but just to give a specific example, 10 years ago, I believe a little longer ago than that, we knew that the IRS was targeting conservative groups for audits under the Obama administration. This is something which has happened numerous times in the past. We also know that there were two whistleblowers that actually spoke up about this, which I very much appreciate here. And that also lends credibility, the fact that you had two people at the IRS stepping up and saying something fishy is going on here. So this wasn't one individual person whose testimony might have a little bit less credibility. But what I'd like to ask you is, if you were elected president, what would you do to dismantle these bureaucracies, and what would you do to ensure that there weren't two different tracks within the justice system?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of Republicans end up making a false promise without knowing that they're making a false promise. They think it's a true promise. They'll say, we're going to come in and reform the bureaucracy.
Yeah, good luck.
It is impossible, right? Because this is a beast. It's like a creation, a monster unto itself that existed long before we arrived as somebody who ever got elected and long after we're gone. And so I'm not going to make that false promise to say that I can reform that bureaucracy. But what the president can do is actually shut it down. And I think this is where, even Trump, who was the closest we ever got to at least identifying this problem, stopped short, because the traditional wisdom is that there are these things called civil service protections, which say that members of the bureaucracy cannot be fired absent some extreme finding of misconduct. Actually, if you read the rules carefully, it doesn't work that way. The way it works is you can't fire individuals, right? You can't have backlash against, any one individual in that bureaucracy at one at a time. But that's why what I'm bringing to Washington, D.C. is mass layoffs, because the civil service protections do not apply on their own terms to mass layoffs. And mass layoffs is what we're bringing to the federal government. And so I think it takes somebody who's willing to break the glass coming in from the outside without inhibition. And I think Trump brought an element of that. I'm definitely bringing it. But you have to combine that with an actual understanding of the law and the Constitution. And together, that's what it's going to take to shut this thing down.
What concerns me about shutting it down, just like stopping it, is getting a resurgence of like what they did with the Ba'ath Party in Iraq. Because they went in there, they conquered it, and then they fired them all, and then they formed ISIS. Like, these people have connections with DARPA, with Boeing. Like, they are the military. And so, like, if we fired them, they just start their own secret government, I feel.
I think that it's not a destination, right? I'm not saying that we all have a party, there's one silver bullet solution, and then we're done. That's how we get to the start line, right? We're not even at the start line right now. We're playing a different game. Come in with some puppet claiming to be the elected official sitting on top of the managerial class. That's a different game. I'm talking about how we get to the start line of at least restoring political power to the people who are actually elected by the governed.